Good morning, Chasm listeners. This is Kayla from the Natural Resource Conservation Service. Last week, Ryan talked to you about winter being an excellent time to work on forest management, and I'm going to keep that train going a little bit. Upcoming Tuesday at 1 p.m., the Woodland Stewards are hosting the first in a 6-part series about silvopasture, which is in essence mixing pasture with some well-placed trees. This first one is described to help, quote, learn about what it is, who should do it, and the advantages and disadvantages of the system, end quote. To find it, you can search up Forestry Webinar, and it'll be the link to forestrywebinar.net. Clicking on it will lead to a page where the silvopasture webinar will be in this little thing on the right labeled Live next week. If you're liking this idea of silvopasture, or you're just looking to plant trees this spring overall, it sounds kind of silly, but remember, your tree will grow. By the words of the USDA Forest Service's Tree Owner's Manual, you want to make sure your planting spot is at least 3 feet from pavement or fencing on all sides, and 15 feet from buildings or other trees. You really don't want to have to behead your poor trees, so if your tree or trees are going to grow taller than 30 feet, make sure they're planted at least 25 feet from overhead electric wires. I'd go further, honestly. Additionally, when digging the hole for them, make sure it's only as deep as the root ball and 2 or 3 times as wide, depending on the tree. Once you have them planted in the ground, I think one of the single biggest points of failure with keeping the tree alive is keeping it watered. The first 3 years are absolutely critical for the tree to get enough water. If you can get to it, check at least 6 inches below the soil to see if it's dry and water. For those with sandy, fast-draining soil, you want to check every other day if it's possible. For those with slower draining soil, you can check weekly. Next up on our tree theme, if you've been meaning to get a good look at the forests on your property, the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources is inviting folks with 2 or more acres of woodland to participate in a statewide inventory. At no cost, those participating will receive quality forest inventory data detailing the size, type, and amount of various trees on their property. Knowing what you have is important for good stewardship of your forests, as you can determine your wildfire risk and create management plans around maintaining your forest and wildlife habitat. Looking up Woodland Forest Inventory should bring up the DNR.state page leading to the sign-up. And as we're wrapping up, some final date reminders. The UMN's Extension webinar series, Economic Risk as a Cattle Owner, has its second session this upcoming Wednesday, January 31st. Registration to this online webinar is free and can be found by searching it on the Extension website. Annie's Project is an educational program dedicated to strengthening women's roles in modern farm and ranch enterprises. The registration deadline for an Annie's Project in Little Falls is coming up on the 6th of February, and the class itself will run from February 20th to March 26th every Tuesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. Attention for any private pesticide applicators out there who need to renew their private applicator certification by March 1st, you can head over to the UMN Extension website and search their private pesticide applicators page, where they offer recertification workshops. Don't know if you're set to expire? Clicking the How to Certify tab has information on where to do that. This has been Kayla from the NRCS signing off. Have a good week.